Hey guys! Welcome back to my channel. So join me today as I study about the 2020 TEAS exam. I have prepared 65 review questions for science. So let's get started. Okay, I will be reading just the question and the answer, and it's up to you to read the explanation. Which vitamin is mainly synthesized within the human body? The answer would be vitamin D. Which vitamin is mainly synthesized within the human body? The answer is vitamin D. Okay, trypsinogen, an enzyme secreted by the pancreas, is activated into trypsin in the duodenum by which enzyme? The answer is enterokinase. Follicle stimulating hormone, or FSH, which is responsible for maturation of follicles in the ovary, is produced by which gland in the body? The answer is anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Next question. In a chemical reaction, sulfuric acid plus substance X equals salt plus water plus carbon dioxide. What could substance X be? The answer would be sodium carbonate. So there's an explanation below. A ball is tied to a pole with a rope and is moving in a circle with constant speed. Which of these statements about the ball is true? The answer would be there is force acting toward the center of the circle. Next question. Which of these make up a molecule of fat? So molecules of fat is made up of 3 molecules of fatty acid and 1 molecule of glycerol. Fill in the blanks. Enzymes are blank that work best at blank pH or temperature. The answer would be biological catalyst and optimum pH or temperature. Next, which of these statements regarding the process of fermentation is true? The answer would be it is an example of an anaerobic process where yeast acts on a sugar solution to produce carbon dioxide and alcohol. Just remember that. Okay, next question. Which of these statements regarding the oxygen debt created during heavy exercises is true? The answer would be oxygen debt is created due to buildup of lactic acid in the muscles, which needs a high level of oxygen to be oxidized. Next question. Which of these statements regarding facilitated diffusion across a cell membrane is true? The answer would be it is a kind of passive transport, which means does not directly use energy such as hydrolysis of ATP that requires transmembrane carrier proteins. The explanation is below. Phalanges are bones present in which part of the body? So phalanges are bones present in both fingers and toes. I was going to answer just fingers, but it was wrong. So this is the answer, fingers and toes. Which statement regarding ball and socket joints is true? So ball and socket joints are multi-axial joints which are highly mobile, allowing movement in multiple axes and planes. So it's not just uniaxial, it's multi-axial joints. Ball and socket joints, pivot joints, plane joints, and hinge joints are which type of joints? So these kinds of joints are synovial joints. Explanation is down below. Next, cardiac muscles exhibit which of these features? So cardiac muscles must be striated, involuntary, and intercalated discs present. Okay, next question. Fill in the blank. The hepatic portal vein carries blank blood from the blank to the blank. So the answer is deoxygenated, nutrient-rich intestines and liver. So if I read it again, the hepatic portal vein carries deoxygenated, nutrient-rich blood from the intestines to the liver. As we know that hepat means liver. Okay, on each side of the body, the brachiocephalic veins are formed by the union of which two veins? The answer would be internal jugular veins and subclavian veins. Next, Large lymphatic trunks unite to form which two main vessels of the lymphatic system? The answer would be right lymphatic duct and thoracic duct. Which of these is not a lymphoid organ? So spleen, tonsils, and thymus are part of the lymphoid organs, and liver is not. So the answer would be liver. Next, which of these is not a part of the central nervous system? So brain, tract, which is the bundle of nerve fibers and axons, and spinal cord is part of the nervous system. The answer would be cranial nerves. Cranial nerves is not a part of the central nervous system. Next question, which structure is not considered a part of the rib cage? The answer is lumbar vertebrae because it's located at your back part. Okay, the thoracic vertebrae, sternum, and costal cartilage are part of your rib cage. So which valve is found between the left atrium and the left ventricle? So the answer would be the mitral valve. Next, which layer of the skin contains hair follicles, sweat glands, and nerves? The answer is dermis. Which of these is known as the pacemaker of the heart? The answer is SA node or sinoatrial node. Which element is essential for the normal production of the hormone thyroxine? So it's the iodine. The answer is iodine. Okay, next question is fill in the blanks. Vitamin A, also known as blank, is a blank vitamin. Its deficiency can lead to blank. The answer would be retinol, fat soluble, and night blindness. So again, I will read. Vitamin A, also known as retinol, is a fat soluble vitamin. Its deficiency can lead to night blindness. Which of these is an example of protein-related malnutrition? It's the kwashiorkor. Explanation is down below. Okay, food moves in the gastrointestinal tract by which of these processes? So, peristalsis of the circular and longitudinal muscles. That would be the answer. What is the function of amylase in the body? Okay, amylase breaks down starch into simple sugars. Which of these statements regarding the gastrointestinal tract is false? So the last three that I didn't highlight are true, and then the false is villi present in the large intestine absorb water and mineral salts. If you want to know why, the explanation is down below. What is the lifespan and breakdown product of the red blood cells? So it's gonna be 4 months bilirubin. Maturation and development of T cells takes place in which region? It's in the thymus gland. So just remember, T cells, thymus. So they both begin with letter T. That's how I would remember it. Okay, the next question, which of these statements is false regarding red blood cells? Or blood cells, rather. The answer would be mature red blood cells are biconcave discs that have a central nucleus and long lifespan. That's false. During inhalation, what changes occur in the diaphragm? The answer would be the diaphragm muscles contract or tighten and the diaphragm moves downward. Next question. The volume of air that remains present in the lungs even after forceful exhalation is called blank and is about blank liters. The answer would be residual volume and it's 1.2 liters. Which pyrimidine base is only found in RNA? The answer would be uracil. Uracil. Spinal muscular atrophy or SMA is an autosomal recessive disorder. Knowing the information, what are the chances that a child will not have the recessive allele if both parents are carriers? The answer is 25%. If you want to know why, the explanation is in the slide itself. Okay, next question. If someone is lying belly down, their positioning is said to be what? The answer is prone position. So if belly down, that means it's in prone position. Which of these statements is true for boiling but not true for evaporation? The answer is it takes place at a specific temperature. How does an impurity affect the melting point and boiling point of a substance? The answer is impurity raises the boiling point and lowers the melting point. So one raises and one lowers. Raise the boiling point and lowers the melting point. Which of these statements regarding isotopes is not true? The answer would be isotopes of an element have the same chemical and physical properties. That's not true. Okay, next question. Which of these patterns of the periodic table is not correct? So in the question that I was getting the source from, it had a picture of periodic table, but I didn't get the chance to print it out. So anyway, the answer would be atomic size increases down a group and across a period from left to right. Next question. Simple covalent compounds show which of the following properties? They are soluble in organic solvents, for example, the ethanol. The law of conservation of mass states that the total mass of all products of a chemical reaction is equal to the total mass of all the reactants. So total mass of all the product chemical reaction is equal to the total mass of all the reactants. So remember that. What happens when a piece of zinc is placed in a copper 2 sulfate solution? Okay, the answer would be zinc displaces copper from copper to sulfate solution. Which of these statements is correct? The answer would be an oxidizing agent either adds oxygen to or removes electrons from or other substances. Next question. What causes a moving body to resist a change in its state of motion? It's inertia. So, inertia causes a moving body to resist a change in its state of motion. A change in the gravitational field affects which property of a body? It's weight. The answer is weight. Which of these groups of physical quantities consist only of scalars? So the answer would be mass, speed, and time because the rest of the choices are vector quantities. They have direction. Okay, next one. A body of mass 30 kilograms is traveling in space at a speed of 10 miles per second. Given that the formula for kinetic energy is Ke equals to 0.5, which is a constant number, times m times v2, and m is mass and v is speed of an object, what is the kinetic energy? The answer is 1500 joules. Explanation. Kinetic energy is equal to 0.05 times 30 times 10 times 10 equals to 1500 joules or 1500 joules. Okay, a man of mass 60 kilogram runs up the stairs of total height 5 meters in 4 seconds. How much power is exerted by the man? The answer is 750 watts. Explanation. Weight is equals to mass times gravitation field strength, which is W equals to 60 times 10 equals 600 Newton. Power is equals to work done over time. P is equals to 600 times 5 over 4, and P is equal to 750 watts. Which of these represents the correct order of some of the main energy changes that take place in a coal-fired power station? So the order is first chemical, then heat, then kinetic, and then finally electrical. Next one. A large amount of energy is produced in the center of sun by which phenomenon? It's the nuclear fusion. So a large amount of energy is produced in the center of sun by which phenomenon? It's the nuclear fusion phenomenon. Okay, next question. Balance the following chemical equation by filling in the coefficients that should go in the blanks. So blank Na plus blank H2O is equal to blank NaOH plus H2. The answer would be 2Na plus 2HO arrow 2NaOH plus H2. That's the correct answer. Which of these organs is made up of epithelial tissue? It's the skin. Skin is surrounded with epithelial tissue, or it's made up of epithelial tissue. The attached diagram shows 4 varieties of one type of tissue. Name the type of tissue and the 4 varieties. So the answer would be connective, adipose. Okay, the answer would be connective tissue, and it's composed of adipose, blood, areolar, and bone. So the first one on the left is the blood, and then the next is it's adipose or fat, and then the next one is blood, and then areolar and then the bone. Okay, referring to this passage, what could Gregor Mendel conclude from the result of his experiment with green and yellow pea plants? Gregor Mendel used pea plants to conduct experiments on genetics and heredity. He grew approximately 29,000 plants to study 7 characteristics: flower color, seed texture, seed color, stem length, pod color, pod texture, and flower position. Mendel was able to demonstrate that these characteristics were passed from one generation to the next, and that the offspring could inherit the characteristics from either one or from both of the parents. So the answer would be, with a large number of plants, he could demonstrate that the results didn't just happen by chance. Okay, based from the previous situation, referring to this passage, what could Gregor Mendel conclude from the result of his experiment with green and yellow pea plants? So green peas are a recessive trait. Okay, this question. Carbohydrates are oh my goodness. Carbohydrates are macromolecules that can be divided into 3 main types. Name of the types of carbohydrates. So as we know that carbohydrates are monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. So if you see this question in the TEAS exam, this would be the answer for sure. Okay, next question. The autonomic nervous system can be divided into 2 branches. What are they? So autonomic, just think of it as sympathetic and parasympathetic. In this diagram of the brain, some of the labels are missing. What should the labels be? So number 1 right here in the diagram, it's the cerebral cortex, and number 2 is the thalamus. Number 3 is medulla oblongata, and the number 4 is the pons. Take note. Okay, next question. What set of signals is the vagus nerve responsible for conveying? So vagus is responsible for signals from abdominal organs. Vagus, or it's not Vegas, sorry. Okay, next one. What name is given to the space between the axon of one neuron and the dendrite of the next? I will never forget this. The synapse. Synapse is the gap between the axons and dendrite. Okay, next question. Which of these is not regulated by the parasympathetic nervous system? So, constricted blood vessels is not regulated by the parasympathetic nervous system. That would be the answer. Next question. Which valves are responsible for the sound of the heartbeat? So, the atrioventricular and semilunar valves are responsible for the sound of the heartbeat. Next, what does the sympathetic portion of the autonomic nervous system control? So, sympathetic portion of the autonomic nervous system control the fight or flight response to threats. That's all for today. Thank you for studying with me, and good luck, and I hope that you pass your TEAS exam. And I hope and I pray that I would pass this exam too. I've already passed the last time, but I needed a better score so I can apply in a better university. So I'm trying to improve my score. Have a nice day. Bye.